But yeah, I feel like also, since you're talking in the topic of things that kind of have that mystery kind of crime solving vibe, we also have those like procedural, like cop or
Yes.
FBI shows where they're just like, it's kind of a rinse and repeat. That's honestly why I couldn't finish Criminal Minds. Like, hey, I
Yeah.
love Criminal Minds. Like, for a little bit I was like, I could not stop watching it, and then all of a sudden I was like, I'm gonna stop watching this, because it was like the same thing over and over again. It's like you have
Pretty much.
the beginning where they use a formula. You have the beginning where they show what crime has been committed. The cops come. The cops figure out like, oh, where do we find this? Blah 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 blah, and then they find him. That's it.
Yeah.
Justice served. You can only have that satisfying feeling so many times until you realize you're watching the same thing over and over again.
Pretty much. Like they did that. Like, I mean, that really, the guy who monopolized that was Dick Wolf, who created. Yeah. I always thought it'd be funny if he got like married to like this really bad comedian named Andy Dick, and then like he took his last name, so his name could just be Dick or
Dick.
Richard Dick. Yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah, so Law and Order, of course, and then Law and Order Special Victims Unit, Law and Order Criminal Intent, Law and Order Trial by Jury, Law and Order Starring Me. There's so many of them out there.
NCIS Miami,
NCIS New Orleans, and then they did it again with the Chicago shit, the Chicago Fire, Chicago PD.
They're still making those.
They're still making these. Law and Order is still on the air. At a certain point, like I remember John Mulaney had a good bit about this. He was just like, yeah, Ice-T is just like surprised by everything. You would think after 27 years, he would just be like, oh, okay, I know what that is. But sometimes he's just like, what? Wow. So you mean to tell me, okay. Just after a certain point, you're just like, Ice-T, I just like, I don't know. I also remember this one clip of him on Law and Order that like I can't believe is like a real scene. It's like he's talking to I think like a relative. I don't know if it's like his son or his like nephew or something like that. And he's just and his nephew or son is like, I'm not gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men sometimes. And then Icy just goes, that means you're gay. And I was just like, what is this for? What does it have to do with the episode?
I think that's the problem. There's a lot of like these shows that all they do is focus on the crime. They don't really focus on the exploration of like the meaning of it or how it affects people, the people
or the
that
nuances.
The nuances, like like why they were killed, like stuff like that. It's just like black and white. It's just villain and good guys.
Yeah, very much. I think I can't remember who called it, but I didn't invent this term. But it's they call it Copaganda, basically, where basically it's like if you watch Special Victims Unit, like half the time, like pretty much almost all the time, Olivia Benson is just like, oh, okay, that's the person. They're just like, I need to make sure like that's the person. I think that's the person, and then they like it turns out they're not the person. They're like, what? Oh my goodness. Well, oh well. And then the episode ends. Like there was one episode where like a woman gets attacked and she accuses some guy of attacking her who like was in the bathroom with her for like 2 seconds telling her to get out of the bathroom. And then like her father finds that guy and like basically tortures him until he has like a heart attack. And then like the father is basically like also now about to go to jail now for basically killing this guy. And it turns out that guy that had the heart attack didn't even do anything. Yeah. I only find these out because like on TikTok I get like a ton of those like
those, like, part 4.
Part 4, yeah.
It's like it starts you in the random spot in the episode and then you're like, what is the plot of this? I've fallen victim to those before.
Yeah.